I know our time is brief here. You're very in demand at a conference like this, but I want to get your thoughts on two stocks that you're seen as an authority on. Nvidia sold off big on its earnings.
Yes.
To me, the numbers look good. I get the concern around guidance. What's your reaction to that quarter?
Yes, we've reworked our models, and we have never said Nvidia is going to be a bad stock. What we have said is we think that the bigger AI plays, now that Nvidia, or let's say back 6 months ago when it was near its zenith, we were saying back then, there are companies out there people don't even understand are the most important AI plays and share gainers in the software space and in the embodied AI space, the physical space. Think Tesla, which is robots, energy storage, AI. So we were very much focused on who Nvidia was enabling. Now we're taking a closer look after this drop. What we are seeing is the hyperscalers themselves are all trying to build out their own chips. Nvidia still has the lion's share. Even in our model, we battle tested it, dropping it from 80% share in GPUs down to 40% in the next 5 years, and taking its margin structure back down into the 60s, the gross margins from the 70s. We still get a north of 20% compound annual rate of return now. But I think many investors are just asking that question, wait a minute, are they going to lose share? Whether it's to AMD or to their largest customers.
Not Intel.
No, not Intel. But Amazon has Graviton and Trainium. Google has the TPU. Microsoft, Meta, they are evolving their own chips. So this market won't be Nvidia's alone, but all praise to Nvidia for the incredible opportunities it has created. It really got the AI revolution going, and we think it's still going to play a mighty role. We do own it in many of our funds.
So Nvidia to you is still a growth stock?
Yes.
Cathie Wood shockingly changed her Nvidia prediction yet again and dropped some hard truth for people still skeptical about Nvidia. She warns every investor that they need to invest in Nvidia before April 1st because the stock is going to blow up for a myriad of reasons. But what exactly prompted her to change her mind? What are the reasons that are so attractive to the average investor? Only one way to find out. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
Malcolm Etheridge, however, is buying one big name at the center of this recent market turmoil, and that's why you see him sitting right there. It is Nvidia, which I've asked you probably, 40 times since you've been joining us. Why don't you own that name? Well, now you do.
Yeah, I would say it's probably closer to 40,000, Scott. And each time I said, for some reason or another, my answer was not yet, or I felt like the trade had passed me. And I was watching Nvidia trade last week. Basically, the entire week, it traded down to the 110 mark and kept finding resistance. For some reason, it would break through that number and then it'd be bought back up into the close. And so I did take the plunge and bought last Friday right at 108. And so hopefully this is the place, right? That's a 25% discount off its high around 148. That 110 number is a 25% discount, And so I'm happy to buy with a discount, knowing that, as you just teed up, we're in a pretty volatile space where that company could see far more volatility than it has to this point. But I feel good about at least starting the position there.
Is that a statement overall that you think the worst of the selling in the mega caps, for example, is now over? And I ask somebody who has Apple and Amazon and Microsoft as part of the portfolio as well.
Not necessarily. I think it's bifurcated here. So I think a company like Nvidia, maybe even Microsoft, who don't really rely on the consumer much at all, companies like that who can have their conversation with their enterprise clients and that's where it ends, are probably going to experience a different meltdown if there is one from here. When we get earnings, we'll start to hear a little bit more about it. You think about an Amazon and Apple, all of the other Mag 7 names rely on the consumer, and Dollar General was out with guidance today telling us that the consumer is in trouble. And so I think if I'm going to go buying any dips here, I want to buy those that are shielded against whatever is happening with the consumer.
Nvidia has offered investors a tantalizing refrain with its recent surge in stock value, fueled by a blend of hope and substantiated predictions, especially from someone like Cathie Wood. At the heart of this excitement is Citigroup analyst Atif Malik's latest research nod. Despite ongoing tariff updates and stringent national security restrictions on semiconductor exports to China, Malik isn't throwing in the towel just yet. On the contrary, he's setting a price target of $163, translating to a possible 43% gain even after the recent uptick. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
You have had a decent reset in multiples from the Mag 7, though, and it has been notable. If we're thinking that, okay, maybe these things are a little extended with the pullback, well, I don't know, maybe not so much anymore. For example, a month ago, Nvidia was north of 30 times forward. Today, it's less than 25. Apple a month ago was north of 31. Today, it's below 28. Microsoft was almost 29. Today, it's 26.5, and so on and so forth. You get my point.
I do, and I think that is what is shaping up to create that buying opportunity in certain tech names, certain Mag 7 names, but I don't necessarily want to buy the entire NASDAQ thinking that a high tide is about to sweep through and raise all boats. I think there's still a lot of unknowns. You guys just got through naming a lot of them as far as this administration is concerned. Semis, for example, it's going to be a bumpy road ahead for semis as a category because the president's trade policy does sweep up a lot of those names. Nvidia and others. And so I don't necessarily think this is a place you want to go trading any of these names in the semis, but I do think for longer term investors, this is a name that I'll continue to hold for quite some time. This is shaping up to be a great place to at least start to build that position if you, like me, have been on the outside looking in for quite some time.
Add to this a compelling Reuters report proposing Nvidia's potential collective venture with semiconductor giants to leverage Intel's U.S. factories, and you have a stock narrative pulsating with promise. Jensen Huang's keynote set the stage for Nvidia's continued innovation and growth narratives. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
I do think that Nvidia's become a meme stock. It's controlled by these 2x ETFs and by the zero-day options. Most people think that can't be the case. But when those are theoreticians, and I'm empirical. I don't like theory. I like empirical, and that has been my strategy since '77. I'm not deviating. You want empirical.
B of A today reiterates a buy 200, very compelling price, they argue. Is there any risk of Jensen disappoint? How would he disappoint next week?
He would disappoint by saying that that they have Rubin, their next iteration, and people are starting to skip Blackwell for the next one, which would then cause a freeze. But I don't think they're going to. That would be something that I don't think Jensen will say. I think Jensen's before this conference, you can't reach him. He's just in quiet. We don't know. So to speculate what he's going to say is to run the risk of really going against the Manhattan Project. You just never know what they're up to.
Right. By the way, as for semis, Jim, pretty remarkable number, 5% above the 200 DMA. 5% in semis. I mean, if that's not a washout, what would you call it?
No, it is a washout. The semis are divided between the Internet of Things and telco. And the telco's been horrible. The poster boy's been Marvell Tech, where the numbers were actually quite good, but nobody cared. That's a stock that was cut in half. Broadcom down 18%. That's an incredible company that blew away the quarter. Texas Instruments didn't have a bad quarter. I mean, you go over these. Obviously, Intel, there's always a rumor floated every day. Now it's Taiwan Semi wanting their not-so-great fabs before it's Marvell is going to buy they're going to buy Altera, and then it was Silver Lake. I mean, may I suggest that they stop talking? They just should stop. I mean, like in Reuters, give Reuters something. Well, I'm waiting for the FT to say that any minute now Qualcomm's going to buy them after Qualcomm denied, and then Broadcom after Hock Tan denied. But people can say anything, and it's irritating. Maybe this is the one. maybe this is the boy who cried wolf, and really there is something for Intel.
Despite recent setbacks, the convergence of strategic investments and promising market potential positions Nvidia as a compelling option for those seeking growth in their portfolios. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like Tesla have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.